With YouTube attacking alternative media, please consider supporting the channel via Patreon for just $1 per month. Link below. Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is 3 Buck Theater, and this is the review, the recap of Star Wars The Last Jedi Expanded Edition, Chapter 2. Now, the last chapter had everything to do with Leia, as she's at the Resistance base saying her goodbyes to Han, in a way that I did feel was pretty sweet, and ultimately I did enjoy the chapter. I liked that addition. That was something that should have been in the film. And this particular scene that we get to in chapter 2 is ultimately the same. So this time we're dealing with Rose and her sister Paige. Now, we only briefly met Paige in the film, but here we get a little bit more. A little bit more about who they are, about their connection and why it was so strong, and why the medallion played such a large part of, you could say, Rose's character and even Paige's character in the moments leading up to her demise. Now, this time they're not on Dakar. They're actually at a faraway staging base on a small planet named Refnu in the Outer Rim, where they are getting ready to go on the Ninka, Admiral Holdo's ship, and meet up with the Resistance fighters. They are just on the Outer Rim, so she's leading them in. And they're having a conversation, just a general kind of pre-battle conversation. And has a lot to do just with Rose and her own insecurities and how she is, she's not going to be there with Paige on this mission. She's going off and she's going to be working on the bafflers. The bafflers are the type of technology that's able to mask the, basically to kind of just mask the engine of the engine signature of the ships and to make them less detectable. And that's something that she was able to help put together, and her job is to make sure that it works. And that's why she's not going to be with Rose. And so it's just them talking about, it's kind of Rose's internal dialogue, giving us a little bit of history about where they are from. They're from the Automac system. Rose is obviously younger than Paige, and the two, ever since Rose was born, have never been far apart for longer than a couple days. Not when they were being raised on Automac, not when they went off to go fight against the First Order. They've always been inseparable, and this in part is reflected in the medallion and how much time they spend together. In fact, many of the other crew, the other Resistance fighters, would think that they're twins. That kind of bond that twins have is the strong bond that Rose and Paige have here. And while Paige tries to be the strong older sister who wants to look out for her younger sister, you can see that Rose wants to also kind of come out of her shell. There's a line in there about how she's ready to take care of herself. And then Paige says, "I just want you to be yourself, and I still want you to be my younger sister." So it's a nice brief little moment amongst the two of them as they're prepping the bomber, the Cobalt, in order to, or the Cobalt hammer, to take off. Now, apparently the Cobalt hammer appeared in an earlier novel, so there's a bit of history with that. I don't know anything about that, so I can't get into that. I looked that up beforehand. Before recording this. So there's a lot more ancillary content to get through, at least in regards to probably the Tico sisters. But this is their farewell. It wasn't, and of course they didn't know there was going to be a farewell. They keep it casual. They keep it light. They think that actually is their good luck charm. They think that that is their way of saying, we'll be fine. Everything will be okay. I'll see you soon. And little does Rose know of what's coming, obviously. But as she exits the bomber, she does take a look at how many bombs are in there and how much firepower Paige would eventually drop on the Dreadnought, and it is a lot. This is the type of stuff that can literally take out, can crack a planet. That's how much ordnance is in this particular bomber. And on all the bombs, there's little little remarks. There's sayings of what the First Order officers can go do to themselves. But on one of them, Rose and her sister wrote "Justice for Automac," and that is the one that they want to make sure that makes its way to the Resistance in any way that it can. Now, what I found to be nice about this chapter was just that setup. That setup, because as Rose was walking away, she has that moment of dread, that moment that something could possibly go wrong, that there's going to be some kind of problem. And she looks up at the in the turret where the little ball where Paige is, and Paige is visible, and she looks at her and just wants to go find her commander, tell her that she's going to be with Paige, she's not going to leave her behind, she's going to go along on the mission, and she's going to help make it a success. And if he denies her, if he tells her no, she's going to sneak on and hide until they are in light speed, and she is unable to be booted out of there. Because it's going to take time to get from Refnu to Dakar, where the resistance base is in fact going to be, evacuating. And at that moment, Paige looks at her, smiles and waves, and Rose doesn't do anything. She just goes, waves back, and that's it, thinking things are going to be okay. That moment of dread gone in an instant when she looks at her sister and is reassured by her best friend, by ultimately even probably her soulmate in that regard, that things are going to be okay. And that's probably what Rose needs to hear in that moment too, given what we know about her from later on in the story. She probably very much wants to feel that reassurance. That's probably one of the reasons why she was the way she was when she was zapping people, keeping them from trying to escape. She wants some kind of control, some kind of order in order to make sense of the chaos that she must be experiencing, the true loss and grief that she's experiencing from knowing that her sister has died. And it's a nice thing, because I think back to, like, I got 5 younger siblings, or 6 younger siblings. Yeah. And, like those moments of what if we were in a situation like that, and these two had been at it for a while. So while it was short and brief, it was good. It was nice. It was building in to the drama that's going to happen. Only thing, while they were explaining the Cobalt Hammer and explaining the bombs and the ordnance and the destruction that they can wield, they never explained the bomb doors, because she climbs down through the bomb doors, right? She climbs down through the bomb doors, and that's when she leaves. So obviously there's a force field that's there. All right, because that was one of my biggest complaints from The Last Jedi, was when the bomber's cruising over the Dreadnought and Paige, drops the bombs. She's out there with no mask on. She's out there with no breathing apparatus. She's out there with no suit. So she's just out there in what could only be explained as space, when we saw the crew member on another bomber wearing a mask, an air mask and stuff. So there was at least low atmosphere, and yet she was able to walk around. So I would have liked it if they would have explained the force field that was going to be protecting the interior of the bomber while the bombs dropped. I'd like them to have explained that a bit more. Maybe that will be in the upcoming chapter about the battle with the Dreadnought. I'm not entirely too sure. But what we've got so far is we've got the Leia scene, giving us closure on Han, and now we have a little bit of more information involving Rose, and more maybe who she is, her being unsure, her needing her sister, and maybe that's why she was so headstrong when it came to the Canto Bight scene later on. It's because she was mimicking her sister. She was like, what would Paige do? And this is how Paige would take charge, and how Paige would save the day, when ultimately trying to also find herself in the position where she would make that ultimate sacrifice down the road, as we will get to when that time particularly comes. But again, 2 chapters into this thing, and we're getting a lead in. We're getting the different character perspectives, and I have a feeling more of that is going to come. But hey, if you want to know more about that, tune in tomorrow for Chapter 3 of The Last Jedi Expanded Edition, but be sure to leave your comments below. The comments so far have been interesting on the other couple of videos that I've done, and you guys seem to like this, which is great. I appreciate that. So be sure to thumbs up the video, subscribe if you're new, comment, and check back daily for more review and recaps of the chapters for Star Wars The Last Jedi Definitive Expanded Edition. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day. Peace out.